Welcome to the Every Bit Counts Challenge Week 2 here in the Midwest, where we are being covered at the moment with lots of snow. We already had an inch or two on the ground. I think today they're saying another 3. It's a beautiful snow, but I have to bring some treats out here to the girls and to the horses, because you know what? When it's cold like this, every bit really does count. Today's every bit counts for the chickens is birdseed, oatmeal, scrambled eggs, leftover hamburger, and they are very grateful. You have to keep their protein up this time of year. It helps them put on a little bit of weight, and when they get on their perches at night, they can cover their feet well so they don't get frostbite. They've been hanging out in the coop most of the day today. They haven't been out here much, but they knew it was about snack time. So for week 2, we're starting off with an American staple, which is Bisquick. If you have hamburger and Bisquick anywhere in your cupboard, you can make 2 to 3 days worth of meals. There's so much you can do with it. So that's what we're having for tonight. We're going to have a cheeseburger pie made with Bisquick. I already made a pork roast. That's going to be for tomorrow and Monday. Got my meat frying over here. And then today I went shopping. They had a really good sale on chicken breasts. I got this big bag here, and it was only $2.69 per pound. So it came to $11.81. There's 2, 4, 6 big chicken breasts in there, so that'll get us 2 to 3 meals. And I got this, now that Christmas is over, now's the time to buy the ham. They had a real good sale on ham, and it was 89 cents a pound, so I got this big one for $8.57, and I'm going to cut it up this evening as well. So I'm going to bake everything in my skillet. I've already greased it. I've got the oven heating at 400. I fried my hamburger here. You can add onions if you'd like to. It's about 1.5 pounds. I'm just going to spread that like this. Then I'm going to take a package of mild cheddar cheese. It's going to go over the top. Add a little more salt and pepper. This is super easy. If you have a day where you need something really quick, I'm going to make the topping, and we'll put that on next. So now I have a cup of milk, and to that I'm going to add 1/2 cup of the Bisquick baking mix. Just stir it up a little bit. One teaspoon of oil, and it doesn't matter if you use olive oil or vegetable oil, whatever kind of oil you have. Just a teaspoon. And 2 eggs. And the girls have been giving me, for the last couple days, 3 to 4. They're slowing down a little bit. That's okay. They need a break. 2. And I'm just going to mix this up really well until I get the lumps out of it. And then we will go on to step 3. So now I have this mixed up well, no lumps. And I'm going to just pour it on top. We're going to bake this in our 400-degree oven for about 1/2 hour. It's going to make a really, really nice crust. Now this is good with French fries, green beans, corn, potato chips, whatever you like. It's just like a cheeseburger. So let's pop this in the oven and we'll look at it when it's done. I've got my barbecue pork in the crock pot. We're going to have nachos today for football Sunday. And of course, what I need, which is cornbread, I don't have in the pantry. So I'm going to make my own. Now, this recipe came from my granddaughter who sent me a postcard when she went on vacation to Savannah, Georgia. And it's supposed to be moist and thick and easy to make. And we're going to give it a try. So let's go. The first thing we're going to do is mix our dry ingredients. So I'm going to start off with 2 cups of flour, white flour. And to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of cornmeal. So I do keep cornmeal around by itself just to use for putting on chicken or anything that I'm going to fry that I want to put a little coat on. Then I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. Next is going to be 1½ tablespoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of salt. I've got my oven preheating at 350 and I have greased a 9 by 13-inch pan. And I just, reminded me of Famous Dave's. I thought cornbread would really be good with nachos. So I've got that mixed up fairly well. So I'm going to get my wet ingredients together and we'll add those next. I'm going to mix together my wet ingredients and I'm going to start off with a 1/2 cup or 8 tablespoons of melted butter or margarine, a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, olive oil, any kind of oil you have, 1 1/4 cups of milk, and 3 large eggs. I tell you, the girls are slowing down. So far, I've gotten 2 today, but it is really cold. I think it's only 18 degrees out today. I've been giving them lots of protein. So I'm going to mix this up. Try to get those eggs beat in here really well. The thing with cornbread is you don't want to beat it to death. It's kind of like brownies. You just want to moisten it and get it mixed up well. So now I've got this all mixed together and we're going to add the wet to the dry. We'll make a little pool in the center first. And I'm just going to keep stirring this until it's all mixed up nicely, and then we'll come back. The batter looks beautiful. Look at that. It looks light and airy. I'm really excited about this recipe. Sometimes cornbread can just be dry. I've tried the recipe on my cornbread container. And yeah, it makes cornbread, but it's really dry. But I can tell by the texture of this, it's just going to be fabulous, I think. So I'm spreading it here with my spatula. And as I've told you guys lots of times, you're going to get tired of hearing me repeat it. But whenever I do any baking, I let my pan sit out for just about 5 minutes after it's leveled, just to let it settle, even itself out, and it gives that baking powder time to activate. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. We're going to put it in a 350-degree oven for about 33 minutes. I have greased this is a 11 by 17 cookie sheet. And I've laid out all of my nachos here. And now I'm going to add this delicious pork barbecue that I had in the crock pot. I was really lucky. When I stocked up at the store, they had cheese, shredded cheese on sale, 3 for $5, which was a really good buy. So I got all kinds of different cheeses we're going to experiment with here. This is a wonderful winter comfort food football game day recipe. You're never going to get this on perfect or beautiful, but you're just trying to spread it out so everybody gets a lot of pork. You can make these as elaborate or as plain as you would like. It's just all up to you. You can add peppers, tomatoes, olives, anything you can think of, you can add. We're all kind of boring here, so we kind of keep it to the basics. But right now, I'm adding shredded Parmesan cheese. I think next I'm going to add some jalapeno slices. These are mild. You know, I was really disappointed. I had a ton of jalapenos this summer, but I made candied jalapenos and I sold out. So I'm going to double the jalapeno production for this spring so I can have some here at home and candy some up for my patrons. Okay, so I've got that spread. Then I think I'm going to add some cheddar on top. Cheesy goodness. You want to make sure that the chips, every chip is covered. Okay, I've got a jar of my homemade salsa. Gonna put some dollops of that on. Now this will taste just like summertime with those fresh tomatoes. You just can't beat homemade salsa. I'm not going to cover it. I'm just adding some different flavors here throughout. All right. I think the last thing I'm going to add is just some squirts of ranch dressing. There we go. Now I'm going to put that in the oven for about 8 minutes, 350. Look at how thick and moist this cornbread is. It is a keeper. And our nachos here are ready. And they look delicious too. There's really no good way to get them out of the pan. Oh boy. Crunchy and cheesy and all kinds of flavors. Just like going to Famous Dave's. Doesn't that look delicious? To round out the end of this week, it is freezing outside today. And it's like it doesn't matter what I do inside today. I cannot get it warm enough. I am freezing. So I thought nothing sounds better than a casserole, a nice, hearty, warm casserole. So I'm going to finish up using the pork roast that I made for nachos, and we also had it with just potatoes the other night. And tonight we're going to finish it off, and we're going to make a pork loin and noodle casserole. I was so excited because one of my favorite cookbooks is Das Essinghaus cookbook that I found at a garage sale, and that's located in Indiana. And it's an Amish restaurant. They sell Amish goods. It's right in the heart of Amish land there in Indiana. So I was really excited when I found these noodles. They're Essinghaus Amish egg noodles. Found them at Schnucks. And they're from Das Essinghaus in Indiana. So I thought we'd give those a try. I have got my oven preheated to 400. I've greased a 9 by 13-inch pan. I have 2 cups of my noodles over here cooking, and I'm just going to cook those, what do they call that? Al dente? Al dente, to where they're not mushy mushy, but they're a little firm and they're cooked. Down here, I have 1/4 of a cup of onion, 1/4 of a cup of celery, and 1/4 of a cup of carrots, which you guys probably all have in your refrigerator drawer too. So after you get those cut up and our noodles are done, we're going to go on to step 2. That's what I'm talking about. This smells so good in this cold kitchen. So I am just going to fry up my celery, my onions, and my carrots here. Add some salt and pepper, maybe some garlic salt, whatever you guys like, until it's translucent. So that's going to take me maybe 5 minutes. Then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients right here into the skillet. Okay, now I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of the leftover sour cream that I had from my nachos. This gives it that real rich flavor. And chances are this is all stuff you have on hand already, especially if you made the nachos. Next, I'm going to add 2 cups of whatever kind of cheese you have on hand. And I have the cheddar from my nachos. You can add more or less, it's up to you. Now that's going to melt in there. Just keep stirring until you get that all mixed in fairly well. Now you can even bake this in your skillet if you want to, if you don't want to transfer it to a pan. Okay, and now the last step is I'm going to add my noodles. Just to get them coated well. Now, if you wanted to, you could put some dried breadcrumbs on the top of this with a little bit of butter, and that would taste delicious. But let's remember, this is the Every Bit Counts challenge. Instead of toasting 3 or 4 pieces of bread, taking those out of the loaf when I really don't need to, I have a bag of ready to pitch potato chips that I'm going to use instead. So I just put those in a bag, and I'm going to roll my pan here. Crush them up. And something else I do too, if I catch it in time, is I go ahead and I do this, and then I just put them in the freezer, and then I have them ready when I need them. This will add a little extra crunch to your already delicious casserole. So, there it is. 9 by 13-inch pan that's already been greased. We're going to add our crunchy topping here. And I think I'll probably add a couple pats of butter on the top. Oh, that looks good. I still have a little bit. I don't think I need all of this, so I'm going to save the rest of this in the freezer for next time. Now I'm going to put this in my 350 to 400 degree oven for 35 to 40 minutes, or until the top is nice and golden brown. Round off the week, I cut up my ham that I bought on sale, and I made a big gallon bag of diced ham, and this will be used for scrambled eggs, omelets, soups, ham and beans, scalloped potatoes and ham, all kinds of recipes. And I also made a package of ham patties. And so these will be used for egg McMuffins and with eggs and on sandwiches. So these will all go in the freezer. So there's probably 1, 2, 3, maybe 8 meals out of that. And then I took the ham bone and put some carrots, celery, onions, sage, salt, and pepper, and the bone, and cooked that for about 3 hours. And now I have some wonderful broth that I can use to cook my green beans in and make soups. And so this will be dished out and put in the freezer. So we used every bit of this ham. You guys have a great week. I'll see you on week 3. It is never too cold for Marshall to want to lay in the snow or in the ice. Actually, it probably feels pretty good right now because our house is really warm. He's getting ready to go in and watch some football. Marshall, let's go. Come on. See, he doesn't even want to get up.